Welcome back, everybody, to another Danny Phantom review. Today we are starting Season 3, Episode 1, Eye for an Eye. Oh boy. So Season 3 is infamously the bad season of this show. Mostly it just feels tonally disconnected from the rest of the series. A bunch of new writers came on this season, which can change the tone of the season. Also, Steve Marmel, prominent writer from the first two seasons and big influence on most of your favorite episodes, left the show at this point. He wanted it to go in a little more darker, more serious direction, where Butch Hartman and I think Nickelodeon as well wanted the show to go more comedic. So the tone of this season feels like totally different. It almost feels like a different show. It's that drastic of a shift. I talked a little more about this season in another episode that I did with my cousin Josh, which you can check out. But here we're going to break down each episode individually. So let's get into the first episode, Eye for an Eye. The plot of this one is so stupid and ridiculous. Danny and Vlad are like in a prank war. It's so stupid. Danny's like messing with Vlad and like pranking him and like making his bathroom wall invisible while he's in the shower, and now he's got leaked nudes. And then Vlad does the same thing to Danny. It's very dumb. It's also completely out of character for Danny to seek out conflict in his life. In the first two seasons, Danny hardly ever seeks out conflict, especially ghost villain related conflict. He very much tries to avoid that at all costs. He even kind of has a truce with Vlad and really only comes in conflict with him when Vlad is either directly trying to antagonize Danny or he has some grand evil scheme that affects Danny. That is not the case for this episode. Danny just straight up seeks out Vlad to antagonize him. This leads to Vlad running for mayor.
Mayor! Now that's a good idea. I could run for mayor.
Which sounds like a cool idea. Vlad ends up overshadowing all of the voters and rigging the election so that he wins. So now Vlad is mayor, and he doesn't have some kind of grand, larger scheme or anything. Vlad is just completely petty in this episode and is only mayor to make Danny's life more difficult. He makes it so that he can't go to the Nasty Burger or hang out with his friends. It's so dumb. The episode ends with Danny learning the wrong lesson, which is that he manipulates Vlad and tricks him into looking like Vlad the mayor has harmed Danny Fenton, the average teenager. So Vlad like backpedals on his like curfew restrictions and stuff like that. And yeah, Danny didn't learn anything. He just got better at pranking Vlad and manipulating people. That's this episode. It's stupid. The pacing of this episode also feels like all over the place, as we'll see with a lot of other episodes in this season, where they spend way too much time on fighting a big bad ghost. But with this one, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but there's just so much crap in this episode, and none of it feels like it has any weight because they keep moving on to the next joke, the next bit, like way too quickly. The episode feels like it drags on forever. It's very bizarre. The first like almost 10 minutes of the episode is just about Danny and Vlad trying to one-up each other and has almost nothing to do with him running for mayor. Then he does that, becomes mayor, and then the episode is about like him using his power to like fuck with Danny, and then the episode is about Danny trying to figure out how to like it just you could do one whole episode just about the election, but they don't, and it's just like all over the place. It's fucking weird. It's also much goofier than the previous seasons, which, you know, isn't necessarily a terrible thing. I personally prefer the episodes that have more darker, interesting character themes and stuff like that. Comedy isn't inherently bad, but it's not even that funny. There's like one good joke about politics.
But he doesn't care about other people.
And that's why he'll make a great politician.
And the rest is just like whatever. It glazes right over you. None of it like is memorable. The earlier seasons of the show are already pretty goofy and have a lot of really funny bits, and there's just not that here. This is also like a big status quo change for the show because Vlad is now mayor for the rest of the season. That's right, he doesn't like resign or anything. He's still mayor the rest of the season, which again could be interesting and cool, except that like this episode doesn't set up that he even planned to do that initially, and so he just kind of is. And then going forward, Vlad shows up in most of the episodes, but he rarely does anything. Like, having Vlad be more prominently involved in the show and even being mayor sounds like an interesting, cool idea on paper, but they never really do anything that interesting with it. Vlad didn't show up that often in the first 2 seasons, which meant that every time that he did show up, it felt important and significant. Vlad's in almost every episode this season, and it hardly ever matters. So it's just kind of like, who cares? It's bizarre. I don't know much else to say about this episode. The guys in white are in it, which is kind of fun, I guess, but they're not that interesting here. They show up more often the latter half of the series, and they kind of get less interesting the more they appear. Jeez, I did not intend to be this negative right off the bat for this season, but oh boy, it has been a while since I've seen these episodes, and this one is not good. But we're gonna keep going, so I guess we'll see you next time with another episode. Jeez.
What's up, guys? It's your skater boy, Danny here. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe consider subscribing. Now let's talk about that word, subscribe. What is it? A few days ago I made the mistake of taking a look at my YouTube analytics, and now I know why every single YouTuber in every video talks about which of their viewers are subscribed and which aren't. Do you want to know how many of my views come from people who aren't subscribed? 97%. 97! Now, normally, I don't really care. I'm just happy that you're watching the videos. But YouTube does this little thing where you can only make money on your videos after you hit 1,000 subscribers. Currently, I have 320, which means I just need 680 to be able to hit that magical 1,000 number and start making money. Last month, 2,400 people watched my videos who weren't subscribed. If just a quarter of those people subscribed, I could start monetizing my videos. Now you may be thinking, but Danny, fuck you. I don't want to give you any money. To which I say, good point. But also, a little secret, I probably wouldn't be making very much money anyways. I don't know, man. It would just maybe be nice to have more than 0 revenue coming in while we're living through a global pandemic. Probably wouldn't have to live in the woods anymore and eat squirrels just to survive like I do now. There's one! But Danny, you say, go fuck yourself. And also, what's in it for me? Well, I'll tell you. Apart from knowing right away when I post a video, I'll also be giving away a copy of Avril Lavigne's Head Above Water to whoever ends up being the 1,000th subscriber. If we ever even get there. Just leave a comment if that ends up being you, and I will personally mail this beautiful album directly to your home. I'll even sign it for you if you want, though it would probably decrease in value. That's it. Please subscribe, comment if you're the 1,000th subscriber, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna go hunt some squirrels. For Frodo. Ah!